I'm back. So, hi everybody. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a long time. A lot of things have changed since the last time I recorded on this channel. Most of my videos are going to be archived, so you won't be able to see any of my old content. But since I last entered the booktube world, I've moved out from my family's house. I've had a child. So a lot of things are different, but recently I was watching a video from Rescue and Reads, or Reads and Rescues. No, Rescues and Reads. And she did a video called 10 Things You Will Never See Me Do on Booktube. And a lot of the talk surfaced around her feeling like she didn't know whether or not people liked her content, the types of things that she would do or not do based on what other people were doing, such as never reading books just because they're hyped, or not only reading new releases but focusing on her backlist and worrying about whether or not people will like that type of content. And I'm going to be honest, this video really did bring me back to when I was on Booktube and how I was feeling when I was doing it, and thinking that people really didn't care or like my content because I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. However, I am a full-time mom right now, so I just felt like this was the perfect time to get back into making my Booktube content and, you know, dive back into the Booktube world. When I was pregnant, I was not reading at all. I didn't read that whole year, even though you're only pregnant for 9 months. I didn't read the whole year, and I got back into it after my son was born. So I've been reading consistently every month, 6 to 7 books, and I just feel like even though the year is already half over, I feel good right now, and I feel like I want to hop back into making content. So I thought, what better way than to see from when I started how many books I have on my physical TBR, especially because I recently bought a Kindle and that thing has been taking up all of my time. I read a lot of ebooks and audiobooks now, so my physical TBR has kind of been put on the back burner, and I really want to get that down and kind of have a library that solely consists of books that I love and books that I want in my home. So today we're going to be going through all of the unread books on my physical TBR. I don't remember much about a lot of these books on my TBR because I wasn't reading for a long time, and a lot of these things just left the chat, okay? But I just want to see what I have. That way I can always refer back to this video, especially maybe within a year from now, next year, and around the same time I can see how much I've read versus how much I've acquired and things like that. I know a lot of people are doing that now on Booktube, and I think it's a great idea, especially when I don't have that much space for books and I want to keep only the things that I enjoy. So that's what we're going to be doing today, all of the unread books on my TBR. And then at the end, I'll show you how many books that are on my physical TBR that I actually have read, because I obviously had to separate in order to film this video. It's a scary amount, a scary ratio, I should say. But let's get started. So the first book we have here is Sadie by Courtney Summers. I know this book was very popular a couple years ago. Still haven't read it. I got it from Book Outlet when it was popular because I was like, oh no, actually I think I got this from Barnes and Nobles because I knew it was popular. And that just referenced back to what I was talking about before. Like, a lot of the books on my TBR were things that I knew people were reading, and that's probably why they're still not read today. But I'm going to try to get a lot of these read within the next year. I know I won't be able to finish it by the end of 2023, especially being that I'm starting my channel back up again after the halfway point, but this is just a good video to have on my channel for reference. So yeah, I don't remember much of what this is about. I think all I can recall is that it has a podcast element, which does intrigue me. The next book I have here is The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. This one I did get off of Book Outlet. I like books about books, and that was really my only purpose for picking it out. The next book we have here is Magic Hour by Kristen Hanna. I know absolutely nothing about this book. My boyfriend actually got me this book when we did the Target challenge, where that was really popular on TikTok a while ago, where you would buy something that they want, something that they need, things like that. I forgot what category this was for, but I know nothing about this. And I also still have yet to try Kristen Hanna. I know she's a very popular author, but I have read no books from her so far. The next book I have here is I Owe You One by Sophie Kinsella. Once again, remember nothing about it. I feel like I actually read the first chapter of this book, and it had something like she was in a coffee shop and she met this guy and he helped her out and now she owes him a favor. But that's all I can remember. Then we have Daughters of Ruin by, who is this by? Katie Kastner. Do I need to tell you again that I know nothing about this book? I don't think so. Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Chow. I could recall this book, but I don't want to get it wrong, so I'm just not going to say anything. Another thing that I'm going to note when I'm talking about these books is that a lot of them are mixed genre, and since refinding my love for reading, I've noticed that I only really want to read romance. So a lot of these things might get DNF'd or read but not get that much of a good rating because they're just not things that I want to read anymore. I'm not the same reader that I was 2-3 years ago. But yeah, so let's continue. Then I have Reincarnation Blues by Michael Poore. Never Tell by Lisa Gardner. 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. This cover is beautiful. Wicked Like a Wildfire by Lana Popovic. These next two books are part of a series, and it's midway through because I'm actually currently reading the series. So I'm on this book, but I haven't started it yet, so it's still considered an unread book on my channel. But this would just go to show you how much I wasn't reading and wasn't falling into the hype of Booktube and Book Talk because I'm now reading ACOTAR. But anyway, so A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas, and also A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. I haven't bought the last book in the series, but these two are the current unreads. I've read the first two books. Then we have Since We Last Spoke by Brenda Ruffner. I don't know how to pronounce that. The movie version by Emma Wunsch. I hope I said that right. The Color of Lies by CJ Lyons. This was actually on a couple of my TBRs when I had my Booktube channel and was playing a TBR game that I created. But once again, it was one of those books where I read like 1 or 2 chapters and then I just never finished it. I would say a soft DNF because it's definitely not something that I wouldn't want to read. I just wasn't into what I was doing back then. Then we have Wild Blue Wonder by Carly Sorosayek. Dark Thaw by Kate Borman. The Weight of Our Sky by Hannah Alkaf. 16 Ways to Break a Heart by Lauren Strasnick, another one that was on a couple of my TBRs. It's actually really short, so I don't know why I never got to it, but this one is basically like a romance about a breakup where she's like discovering, it's either she or he, I don't remember which one in the relationship, but one of them is discovering letters about why they broke up. Don't quote me on that. The next one I have is This Lie Will Kill You by Chelsea Pitcher. The Wives by Taryn Fisher. Then another series I have P.S. I Still Love You and Always and Forever, Laura Jean by Jenny Han. I read the first book in the series when I was active on Booktube. I might have to do a reread in order to remember. The book stack is falling over here. In order to remember what happened, but these two are unread. And the other one will be a reread. I have Staying Strong by Demi Lovato. This is obviously a biography or memoir. I don't really know the difference in the terms. one of the only ones on my shelves, because I love Demi Lovato and I would love to read this, but I honestly don't know if it's ever going to be something that I get to. I have an anthology, Because You Love to Hate Me. Obviously this is by a bunch of authors and it was edited by Anne-Marie. I don't remember what this is about, but I feel like it's Disney inspired, and that's why I wanted to pick this up. Then we have a couple re-editions or retellings of Beauty and the Beast, because it is my favorite Disney movie of all time. Okay, I was saying that it was my favorite Disney princess movie of all time. Sorry if the angle changed, but my storage was full. So anyways, let's get back into it. So I have As Old as Time by Liz Braswell. This is a graphic novel, Beauty and the Beast by Jean-Marie LaPrince. Then I have this version of Beauty and the Beast that is beautiful. It has like pop-ups and like little things inside. That's honestly why I've never read it, because I don't want to ruin it. And then last but not least, still sealed, I have the Barnes & Noble version of Beauty and the Beast, which also has other fairy tales in it. Then I have The Infinite Moment of Us by Lauren Miracle. Dear Daughter by Elizabeth Little. The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. This cover is beautiful, honestly. Long May She Reign by Rhiannon Thomas. I really should know how to say that because I recently listened to the audiobook of Fourth Wing. The Reader by Tracy Chee, which is the first book in a series, but I don't have any of the other books. So if I like this, then I guess I'll have to buy the rest of them. But if I don't, on haul it goes. This is also another first book in the series that is the only one I have. A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern. The Water Dancer by Tanashi Coates. The Two Lives of Lydia Bird by Josie Silver. These are a lot of my book of the month books when I had the subscription, but obviously when I stopped reading, I didn't feel the need to pay for it anymore. The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abi Dare. Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. This is a crime, but Beach Read by Emily Henry. I have yet to read any Emily Henry, so obviously this is on my TBR, and also all the other Emily Henry reads that I haven't read, I would love to read, but I just feel like if I haven't gotten to this, then I need to put everything else on the back burner. The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody. Some Kind of Happiness by Claire Legrand. The Dragon Promise by Elizabeth Lim. Wicked Fox by Kat Cho, sorry. This is another crime, but The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Another one that I would really love to read, and I also have seen a lot of other Taylor Jenkins Reid books that are going around right now that I would love to read, but if I haven't read this, it makes no sense to start on other books of hers because that one is on my physical TBR. And we're on to the last stack now. So we have The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I can't wait to start this series. I've heard so much great things about this. This is the only book I have in the series, but again, unread. Then I have the second book in the Twisted series, Twisted Games by Anna Huang. This is as far as I have in the series, but I have read the first book, so this is next on my list. Then I have King of Wrath by Anna Huang. Also only have this book, but I haven't read it yet, so I'm not going to go buy the rest of the series if I don't know if I like this book. Then I have Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. The Good Demon by Jimmy Caholes. Words in Deep Blue by Kath Crowley. Stay With Me by Mila Grace. Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. And then I have I don't even know which one's book 1 and which one's book 2, but I have the first two books in the Jacoby or Jack the Ripper retelling series. So I have Jacoby and Beastly Bones by William Ryder. And last but not least, I have One Last Thing Before I Go by Jonathan Tropper. So let's do a count and come back to this real quick. So, in conclusion, I have 57 unread books on my physical TBR, and I'll go ahead and show you all the books that I read besides A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury, because I'm using those to hold up the stand right now. But aside from those two, these are all the books that I have actually read on my TBR. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 versus 57, which is a terrible ratio. But like I said, this is going to be the basis of my channel so that I can start dwindling down my physical TBR, as well as continuing to read the books that I love via ebook and audio. But I really just want to get this sorted because I could be buying other books that I love and already have read to have physically and things like that. So yeah, let me know if you've read any of these books and if you rated any of them 5 stars, which ones you hate, which ones you think I'll hate, which ones you love, and which ones you think I'll love, because I'm really interested in trying to figure out which ones should be at the top of my priority list. I do plan on doing a new TBR game, probably not a board game version, maybe just the wheel. That way I can film this way because I don't have an overhead equipment anymore, being that I moved. Honestly, this is pretty good for what I previously had because I did unhaul a lot of books before I moved. That was all that I had for today's video. I'm so excited to be back and making content again. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you guys will stick around to see what I do in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.